Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining today Crypto.com live video AMA featuring the Sandbox. My name is Maggie. I'm the head of marketing at Crypto.com, and I'll be your host for today's live stream. The guest who's joining us today is Sebastien Borget, the COO and co-founder of the Sandbox. This project should be really interesting to a lot of gamers because the Sandbox claims to be a platform which allows players to build, own, and monetize their gaming experience in the Ethereum blockchain using their utility tokens and cents. So today, Sebastien is going to be responding to some of the questions submitted by our community members earlier this week. If your question has been selected for today's AMA, that means you have won a share of the prize pool, which will be paid out in Sand token later and will be deposited directly to your Crypto.com app account. So let's welcome our guest, Sebastien.
Hello, everyone. So my name is Sebastien Borget. I'm the COO and co-founder of the Sandbox, as well as the president of the Blockchain Game Alliance. It's a pleasure to be with you, Maggie, and answer all the questions. It looks like you've received a ton of questions from the community. So thank you for participating, sending your question. I hope we'll pick yours and we'll have an interesting discussion with Maggie, who's been helping on selecting them. And you'll get to learn more about the Sandbox, the metaverse, non-fungible tokens, DeFi, gaming, and how we are all bringing this together within the Sandbox.
So before we dive right in, would you like to spare a minute or so to quickly introduce the project, the Sandbox, a little bit more in details?
Of course. So yeah, we'll get to dive in the metaverse, that's for sure. So, well, Sandbox, it's a gaming virtual world where players and creators can make assets and games. They can own them, they can trade them, they can monetize them, and participate in the governance of our virtual world through the use of non-fungible tokens, NFTs, as well as Sand, our main utility token. We are one of the pioneers, real pioneers in the space of NFTs. The project started back at the when CryptoKitty started at the end of 2017. We have amazing achievement, which we'll get to talk about on the platform, and we are about to launch in beta the play part of our platform. Several tools are already being live and accessible toward the end of this year in December.
Great. I think not a lot of people know about the history of the Sandbox, and I dig a little bit deeper because although the Sandbox seems to be a really new project in the crypto space, but the Sandbox is not in the gaming space. So the first question from the community is like, how and when the idea of Sandbox was created?
Well, it's a great way to get started. So the Sandbox IP, Sandbox franchise, actually started in 2011. So it's a while back. It was a game made in Flash on a platform called Congregate by a creator named Onimatrix. He was doing this game, and it was similar to like Powder Toy, Sand Toy. So you were basically playing with physical elements, so represented in pixels of colors, and interacting to create something like physics simulator. We love the idea, and we brought this concept into a mobile game on iOS and Android that we launched in 2012, working with this creator, who is still part of the team today. So it's a long, amazing collaboration. And we turned it into a more casual 2D pixel art game maker where players could make levels and games playing with physical elements, water, characters, etc., and share them in an online gallery for other players to play. So basically, it's user-generated content, turning players into creators. We've had an amazing success over these past 8 years. The franchise have over 40 million installs in total, millions of monthly active users, 70 million creations shared online by players. And we launched, after 2012, we actually launched even a sequel called Sandbox Evolution in 2016 on mobile. So it's quite interesting to understand that our background from Sandbox team is deeply rooted in gaming, and that we have experience creating and running and operating games that have been live for many years through live ops, through updates, through good and fun mechanics, as well as retention and engagement loops. And as we started to work towards the end of 2017 on this new version of Sandbox, this time as a third title, making it 3D, multi-platform, multiplayer, and using blockchain technology to bring some disruption to the existing 3D game makers. We had already this past success background, this past experience that we're taking with us when we are creating a new game. So we know how to create fun and engaging game. We are not just trying to put the blockchain technology on top of the gameplay, but we thought and designed it to be a full part of the experience and to really sustain the economy and the ownership from the creation made by our users.
Yeah, I was looking at your ecosystem and then learning like that, like so many different sets of assets, from your utility tokens to virtual lands to then other type of access, all riding on the ERC standards. So apparently you guys have done a lot of work just to redesign the overall architecture for the gaming industry. So let's start with the first one, and then we can elaborate one by one.
All right.
I think probably the most prominent one is the Sense token, which is the utility token on the Sandbox. What is it, and as a user or as a gamer, what can they do on the platform with the Sans utility tokens?
All right, that's a great question. And even though Sand token is actually the most prominent one and the last one we launched, we introduced Sand token live last August, actually. It has come. We have been waiting for almost 2 years before introducing it because we wanted to show that we could build the platform with the content, the game, with the NFT, with the different tools that makes our platform, and we've been successful in running all the NFT sales, etc. Now back to Sand token. What is Sand as a utility token is first a medium of exchange. So it enables the users, players, creators, artists to buy and sell either the assets on our marketplace, so the content made by other users that are going to be used to create games, or the lands, which are like digital spaces or virtual real estate that you need in order to publish a game and start monetizing on the platform. So really, Sand is a medium of exchange, and but it also a token. It is also a token that allows for governance. So owning Sand and staking Sand will allow to participate in the decision on the platform, such as the priorities on the roadmap for the future development of a game maker, etc., such as voting on some key parameters like transaction fees or other things that we are applying on the platform. And as well, very important because we are UGC platform, user generated content platform, voting on the grants that the foundation is giving to projects, to teams, either individual or game studios that are applying to build amazing games on the platform, which we already have more than 15 now that are creating amazing games for in preparation for our launch. Well, the community will get to be able to decide and fund, support great team to make those games as well. And finally, Sand token can be staked, providing an incentive and bridging a little bit into DeFi space. Essentially, we will, if you stake Sand, you will get several incentive and rewards, of course. One of them that we already launched is a liquidity mining rewards pool on Uniswap, a decentralized exchange, where users contributing to staking their Sand token can receive a dividend, not a dividend, sorry, a share of 1.5 million Sand tokens in total that we allocate each month to this pool. And we've seen an amazing response. So we moved the pool size from 200,000 total liquidity to $2 million total liquidity within 2 weeks, multiplying by 10 the pool size. And soon, in the second phase, we are going to introduce something I think quite unique. Is we call it like the yield NFT multiplier, which essentially, if you own other NFT on Sandbox platform, like lands, typically, you will get more rewards in the staking. It will multiply your reward. So look forward to it, and thank you for those of you who are already participating, contributing. It's still available. You can go there at staking.sandbox.game to get part of the rewards.
Great. And then you already briefly touched on land, right? So I like
Yes.
how you guys come up with land because
Well,
it's literally virtual land on the Sandbox, and I think there's like one key concept that we really need to highlight because most of the tokens, that we see on the exchange, they're fungible, and then land itself is non-fungible, and that is what makes it really rare and really appears to me like property investment because even the location and whatnot, it really matters. So I guess probably to a lot of gamers, this is not a new concept, but maybe you can elaborate to our community members that why you design a system like this with land and sands and how you can leverage of these two assets to really encourage all of the activities on your ecosystem.
absolutely. Well, As I mentioned, we are a gaming virtual world. So as a virtual world, you can imagine there will be avatar and 3D landscape and environment to explore. Now, then connecting it to land, it was kind of like an obvious choice and obvious idea that came to the team, where every instead of being like an app store on mobile or Steam, etc., where you browse and discover games like small thumbnail or small icons and then screenshots, we will build all the content discovery within our virtual world. So that's how it became a map, and the map became 166, 464 lands in total by the size, turning it into what we call our metaverse. The one of the real great success behind land is like how easy it is to understand to anyone, whether you're a gamer or not. In the real world, in the physical world, we all understand that if I buy a land that's empty, I can rent it, I can sell it, but it's not going to generate a lot more value. Whereas if I spend time as a creator to build a business like a restaurant or a shop or etc., the value of that land might increase. Well, turning that idea into the virtual world, if I spend time to develop a game that drives new users to come and play and stick within my land, there's more chance that first I monetize the content on my land, but also the value of it will increase over time because of the traffic it brings. We combine that idea, which very basic, anyone can understand, no need to be a gamer, etc. Two, also the fact that Sandbox has now over more than 60 partnerships, 60 big brands, including, well, major IPs and brands, and from gaming, from entertainment, from Hollywood styles. So we have, among them, we have Atari, Roller Coaster Tycoon, Shaun the Sheep. We announced Care Bear last month, and we have a few more that we're going to announce very soon. I'm already excited about. And we have this unique and I think it was smart from our team to come with the idea that let's make your really push the idea of ownership of your land as far as possible. So what does it mean to be the owner of your land? It means that you can already customize it with your logo. And this idea of it's mine, I can put my logo, has been really working well and resonated with the users. So if you browse our map on Sandbox, you can see there's a lot of key players with different logos as well as the brand's logos. And there's also this idea that if you're close to a brand and the brand its brand logo, then it will be automatically more attractive. Don't ask us why, but like the way the human eye works, sometimes some color are more catchy, sometimes you memorize a brand, and automatically when you see plenty of logos on a map, well, you tend to be your attention tends to be more caught on this one in particular. And this is part of the discovery, content discovery on the platform. And that's been really appreciated and understood by the community of users who participated in buying lands during some of our previous pre-sales rounds. So we've run 4 of them so far, selling out about 30% of our map within usually literally minutes. So that's also amazing, and we're really grateful to the community of landholders who participated as early on the project, even before the full game is launched, who started to buy these virtual lands within minutes to become the next builders of games on the platform when we are live.
As a non-gamer, as you can tell,
Well, why not?
I actually like this concept a lot because if we're talking about decentralizing gaming, I would think of the number one thing to decentralize would be the distribution of the games, right? Instead of relying on heavily centralized platform to distribute the games, I think creating a like a organic marketplace for people to participate makes so much sense. I'm really looking forward to see more and more partnerships joining, competing with each other in this open and decentralized virtual land space. Moving on to the next question. So
Okay.
if I am not a landlord and I'm a player, what can I do to monetize and earn Sense token?
Well, that's where it's becoming interesting as well. Like on one side, and as you alluded to, the ownership of the NFT, content becomes the new platform. So the content itself can carry its distribution. People buy the content and can want to include the content in their game to attract players, to drive traffic, and build a lot of interesting use case behind that. I'll just keep for now. We might get to that later. For the player side, uh, it's basically like well, giving participating in what we call play to earn. Play to earn is a new business model where you can enter a game totally for free. You don't need to pay anything. You spend time in it, you complete quests, you win games, so you're going to collect rewards and tokens. And those rewards of tokens, normally in centralized games, they don't have any value. They are just virtual, and if you leave the game or well, you cannot cash them out for anything, not cryptocurrency or anything. You cannot trade it with other users. So there's really it's a lockdown, centralized walled garden kind of economies. We want to be an open economy, and anything that players can earn by participating in the gameplay, they will be able to trade it for either NFTs or other tokens on the platform, including Sand. So we've put in place a circular economy where SAN and the other ERC20 token on the platform are used by different profile of users, whether they are creators or artists, which makes like there's a demand and supply. Like players spend time to collect resources that are needed by creators to make assets that are more rare, more scarce, more powerful in their games. So the two match in the middle, and it creates an open market depending on the actual supply and demand of those tokens that are needed by either parties to create the content on the platform.
I am now imagining one day if all of the different games can leverage the same platform or protocol where all of the currency they earn out of the games are interchangeable. I think that makes so much sense as the next evolution of in the gaming world. And it's also like back then when people start talking about blockchain and then like very often the use cases people come across right away is how we can make all those like loyalty points or like currencies you earn on in the gaming world changeable, right? So I think you guys are already turning this into reality. For the next question, back to what you were mentioning earlier on, is you have already done a couple of sales on the lands. Is there anyone plan upcoming anytime soon? And in between all of the public sales, where can users go to look for lands and purchase in the meanwhile?
That's a great question. It's also part of like being a decentralized platform. So we are organizing land pre-sales. This is our fourth round of land pre-sale and probably the very last one before we just go into just public sale. And so you get that chance to get land at specific location next to big partners and at a specific discount price, which will no longer be the case during public sale. The next one, the date will be announced. I cannot tell the dates yet, but it will be announced very soon. We are going to make it a really large sale. So if you start looking around on our map, you can already guess the size of that sale, because we saw that there's been, since we introduced Sand token, we've had a really nice increase in size in terms of our community and interest from new people who didn't know about NFT, who didn't know about lands or the gaming virtual world in general, who wanted to have a piece of their land as part of our metaverse. And we were not able to supply enough. Like literally, we sold 10,000 of land in 1 minute, and we had 10 times more people who wanted it. So that's been challenging and sometimes frustrating as well for some users. So we are trying to address this by a better user experience and making a much larger round before the public sale. So keep following us on our social channel, Twitter, Telegram, and Medium, so you don't miss out the date and time. And if there's also the secondary marketplaces that are available. So we have OpenSea as a partner. We have also a marketplace in Japan like Mime that's selling, where users actually are selling their lands. And we announced a partnership more recently with CoinCheck in Japan, which is also like an exchange and soon opening an NFT marketplace. So there is users who are already selling their lands, and I do think that right now it can be really interesting to get those lands on secondary sales because, as I mentioned, as I alluded before, even if you stake sand, just the mere fact that you own a land is already going to give you an extra bonus in terms of like the yield you can receive from the staking. So um, that's I think one of the best way to get started and introduce with within a sandbox. You have access to sand token, you have access to NFTs like lands. Lands is the primary way for you to monetize your game or rent it to other creator or just get something extra from the staking.
Great, and I think we have now covered, as like different roles you can participate within the sandbox ecosystem, from playing, from owning lands, from investing sense tokens, from staking, and just even playing games on it and then earn tokens. Let's shift our focus a little bit to the development side.
Mm-hmm.
So, as a developer, it matters, right? Because you guys really pride in the idea of leveraging blockchain technology, redesigning the mechanism, and turning it into a more decentralized approach. What is your plan to achieve full decentralization and mainstream adoption?
Great. But that's a great question. It's true. We've already been in the space almost 3 years as pioneers in the NFT space. We saw the potential of applying NFTs to our user-generated content. So instead of just having a developer making its own content, like CryptoKitties Cat, for example, as the best known example, anyone could make it in NFT. So that's very powerful idea. Like not everything I create is actually mine. I can do what I want with it. I can use it in any game or sell it, and I can earn from it. That's I think very beautiful. And even if it's not necessarily highly valuable, there's always this sentimental value attachment because you did it. You always think it's so great and it's so valuable for you, and probably maybe for others as well. Why not? Depending on your talents. And we're seeing it's going to take us probably 5 to 10 years more to reach the full decentralization on the platform. So right now we're working. We have introduced Sand Token. By owning Sand Token, you actually become a stakeholder in the success of the project as well, and you participate in the governance. You participate in the growth of the economy and the overall valuation of our metaverse. We have supplied about 20% of the circulating supply of Sand token is about 20% of the total supply. Our goal is within the next 5 years to move this circulating supply from 20% to 100%, moving all the tokens into the hands of players and investors. So that means that it will become a fully decentralized platform where we no longer own tokens. We just participate in building more, like as a service. We develop more content, more features for the platform, the game platform itself. So that's, I think, the long-term view. How we reach it, it's going to be progressive, essentially. Like this first year, as soon as we are launching the beta in December, we are going to start accelerating, onboarding more players into the game platform. How do we get more players onto the platform? We actually are going to leverage our expertise into creating great games at the launch. We are already working with 15 studios, as I mentioned, who are building game experience supported by the foundation. We have already announced major partnership with IPs and brands, and we are going to continue announcing many more. Through the IPs and brand, we can reach the fans, we can reach more mainstream users who are interested to acquire the content and participate in the creation. And I think also one part of like growing the adoption is also to making to make just a great fun game that you just play, you like hanging around, you like to socialize with other players inside, and you don't even think about blockchain or crypto. You don't even know there is blockchain or crypto actually. So at some point we'll not and actually it's just logical, we're not communicating that it's an NFT based game or it's a crypto based game. People just earn what they think are virtual currencies, but will be in reality cryptocurrencies that they can cash out, and we will not necessarily tell them, look, it's a complex thing, you need a MetaMask. No, look, you just need a crypto.com account, you have the credit card, you can spend, you can cash in, cash out. It's as easy as that. So um, they can enjoy the benefit from the technology without all the complexity around it, and then stay for the great user experience, the fun of playing a game, which I think everyone likes, actually enjoys.
I really like the way you highlight that, because at the end of the day, to an end user, whether it's decentralized or not, at the back, it shouldn't
Mhm,
be what we are emphasizing on a daily basis. It should be the user experience and also
mhm,
exactly what value they can get out of it, right? And in
mhm,
your case, it would be not just a virtual token that they cannot trade elsewhere, but it's a
mhm,
virtual token they can trade back in the cryptocurrency space, which is a huge plus to them. And I think as long as we stick to what an end user and a gamer can benefit out of it, then
mhm,
one
mhm.
day we can see a more mainstream mass adoption. And again, as a non-gamer, I would,
But you'll be able to come and just socialize and chat
I
with
would,
others if
I
you're
tell you
not
what,
gamer.
how I would join is because I'm a dog person. If there is a crypto doggy, uh, that
We
can
do have
much tomorrow, and I'll definitely join because I'm not as much as a cat person. So I hope that
there is
that's one of the games on your roadmap.
so one of our partners is called Crypto Kaiju. They are making those vinyl toys. So this is called Dog Jira. It has a QR code and an NFT associated with it. And as part of one fun collaboration we are doing, we are turning this physical toy into a 3D character that can be used to play games on Sandbox platform. So you will be able to enjoy playing games with an actual cute Shiba dog like that. And
I
if
I'm a big fan of hound dogs, so yeah, you just sold me in. So yeah,
cool,
yeah, that's
and we'll
really good.
have other activities where you just socialize, interact, chat, play mini games. So you don't need to be an hardcore gamer with a lot of experience. Actually, in virtual world and MMORPGs, there's to simplify, there's a few categories of player based on the battle taxonomy of players: the achievers, the explorers, the killers, and the socializer. And socializer are actually one of the largest parts, meaning that not everyone is just trying to complete and win every quest as possible and loot all the characters. There's just people hanging around, chatting, and doing simple casual activities around. And you need all those kind of players to make a game that's really going to work through all the largest audience as possible.
Mhm. Great. And back to from the point of view of a developer, why would they like to develop a game on the sandbox instead of another, say if there is another blockchain ecosystem for
Mm.
gaming, why would they prefer the sandbox over the others?
Right. I feel first, I think this what's interesting if you look at the blockchain space, there's already a few actors that are catering to different profile of game creators. So some of them are indeed actual game development studios with programmers, professional studios with many employees, etc. Some of them are just like more casual creators. Don't necessarily know how to code or program. So I would say we're positioning ourselves for now more as the no code, no programming, very accessible game maker. So actually, you don't need to be a programmer or developer to start making a game. That's what it makes Sandbox platform very powerful. A lot of artists who are making the 3D voxel content that we have, they want to give life to this content, but they don't know how to create games with it. So we are it with artists is one of our very first community of creators in Sandbox. We are opening them the door with our very accessible platform to give life, create games with their content in a very very easy manner where they just drag and drop their content and the behaviors are already there, so they can create sorry, they can create game experience without programming. So that's one thing. In the future, as we are going to grow the platform, attract more players, we think we're going to attract more professional studios, and the game maker tool will have more package, more options, even visual scripting potentially, which will allow us to create games that are made by professional teams. And the budget of production of this game will move from a couple of $1,000s per game to probably in the $100,000 to $1 million production. That's really where we're aiming to, the kind of game we are aiming to have on a platform, not just mini games, but also games like you can enjoy on other store, console, or PC platforms down the line. So that's the vision for next 3 to 5 years in our roadmap.
Mhm. At the moment, are there any developers building games on the Sandbox or already profitable?
Absolutely. So we have more than 15 teams already, or individuals building games on the Sandbox platform as part of a game makers fund that we launched in October last year. So about a year ago at DEF CON 5 in Osaka. They are using the current alpha version of the game maker to produce on one side the game experience. They're using the Vox Edit and our marketplace as NFT makers to create the content that is animated. And we are teasing every week. If you follow us on Twitter, Telegram, or Twitch, you can see how they're progressing on their content. And very soon on our website, probably next week, we will update with the portfolio where you can see all the logos and you'll be able to click to find out more about each game. So if you have yourself, you're an artist or potentially a game programmer, or just you want to start creating games, I invite you to check our game maker first on gamemaker.sandbox.game. And we have a fantastic community on our Discord and Telegram who can help us and onboard you so you can start being among our first creators on the platform.
So the URL is gamemaker.sandbox.game, right?
Yes, and actually, so I think on the live stream you can see a video playing in loop that showcase a little bit all the different tools of Sandbox platform, videos from gameplays, videos of our map, videos from our social experience already, and the tools in action, like the Game Maker and Vox Edit in action. So I hope that I don't see it, I just see Maggie here, but I hope that you who are following us on this live stream, you like what you see and that made you want to join our metaverse and trying out.
So you were saying that to create, like, your ambition is to provide a platform with minimum programming that you can create and publish your own game. Other than this, is there any other killer features that you would like to highlight and elaborate a little bit more to our communities that you think that can really put you guys ahead of potential competition?
Well, I think the killer feature has been already like the content, like the brands and brand and IP that are coming. The fact that we really focus on gaming first, so that's from our background, and that's the way we are implementing the features and mechanics on the platform. Like we're really more. You can do quests, you have timers, you have enemies to kill, etc. And the multiplayer. And the multiplayer is we don't imagine this sandbox without the multiplayer, and will not launch it until we are satisfied by the multiplayer experience that we can offer to our users. And just recently this week, we've started doing our first test. So on October 1st was sort of like the anniversary, where the whole team of 70 people now working on Sandbox full time, connected in the server and played around all together within our own virtual world. So yeah, that's the kind of exciting activities and moments we want our players to enjoy as well, and in Sandbox.
Cool. So yeah, because your expertise is mainly on gaming. So, but let's ride on the potential on this platform. The next question from our community is that NFT ecosystem is growing really fast. Can we as users take advantage of that and utilize sandbox-based non-fungible assets purposes outside of gaming? And one of the example that this user has named is, say, for example, collateral loans. Would you support this, or is it even something that you guys have entertained, when you're brainstorming on the development roadmap in longer term future?
Mhm. So there's a few things that we already alluded to, like the fact that we have both the NFTs and Sand, our native token. Binding them together enables to participate in DeFi and more play to earn kind of economy. So if you stake, you earn some rewards, but if you own land NFTs or asset NFT plus you stake, you get even more reward through a multiplier. That's one of the few things we have. We're really excited by the additional possibilities that can be enabled by NFTs and ownership. Like it can be used as a way to monetize an access token. So in order to enter some games, you need to own an NFT, or we can build even kind of like other economic system, such as collateralizing the NFT to receive a loan, collateralizing the land to rent it without having to buy it, things like that. So we think also, being a decentralized platform, we don't necessarily to build all the tools ourselves, but we can offer the ground layers. Here we already have in place lands, NFTs, all our smart contracts, which are public on GitHub and have been audited, so that third-party developers who are really interested into specific use case can start developing their own services and tools in our ecosystem, and create things that we didn't even think about, or maybe we've been not moving fast enough for onto. Like if they want to start creating their own prize pool community with PvP tournament or DAOs, or as you mentioned, like renting and collateralizing platforms, they are more welcome to do so using Sandbox API and Sandbox NFT.
So it seems like being able to enhance as much as possible on the ecosystem is what you guys are really aiming for, to attract more different kind of use case developments and
Mm-hmm.
gaming studios and whatnot. So let's talk a little bit about that. Recently, you have announced that you've partnered with Harmony
Mm-hmm.
Protocol. What is that collaboration about, and how will that help enhance the sandbox a little bit further?
Well, that's a great question. The partnership we have with Harmony, which is which is building a different blockchain and protocol than Ethereum, is an interesting one. Essentially, we have already a community of users. We have already existing NFTs, but we are also familiar that Ethereum as a layer one has certain limitation, and some users are concerned by this limitation. They are they would like to transact faster and cheaper their NFTs. And what we love with Harmony is that they are going to build bridges and solution that enables faster trading, faster transaction of the NFTs without losing the ownership of it. So typically, it resonates really strongly with the idea that we're an NFT maker. Those NFTs, they can be bought on our marketplace. They can be used in Sandbox Game Maker, but not only. So we provide one experience with our NFT maker, which is this gaming virtual world. But anyone could actually say, look, I love this NFT maker, but I want to do something else with those NFTs. And typically, they can build other marketplaces. They can build other things that the game maker of the Sandbox provides and use the NFT as content on their own platform or even on their own blockchain, as uh, to the example of what Harmony is doing by developing this bridge and solutions for faster transaction of NFTs on their platform.
And riding on this, are you guys even considering that at one point you will not be on the Ethereum blockchain any further, but migrate to another blockchain facing the limitations that you're facing at the moment?
So we haven't been facing many limitations ourselves, like the price of the land being about $50 or more, even if transaction fees themselves have rise a lot, indeed, but they are still representing a smaller portion of the price of the NFT. So it's been really impactful for other games with low price items like $0.50, $1. It didn't make any more sense to do those transactions. But with lands, and that's not been an issue. The second thing is Sandbox use NFT only for proving the ownership. So the gameplay itself, once you are in the game client or the game maker, you don't interact with the blockchain and you don't make transactions. So you're not confronted to the slow speed of doing Ethereum transaction, etc. So as of now, our focus is not into how do we change the blockchain protocol underlying the platform. Our focus is how do we launch a product first that we launch a complete ecosystem of product, because we already launched 3 products, sorry, and we get more and more users into it while we look at we study we have a research group on possibly layer 2 solution or other blockchains. Like it wouldn't make sense because we've started building Sandbox about 3 years ago, so we've put a lot of engineering effort. We are even contributors to the Ethereum blockchain with ERC 1155 and several work that's been made by our lead blockchain architect in the meta transaction on the topic of meta transactions to just leave our current technical stack and not focus on what is the product we are building at first.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. Then the next one, that recently I think you have also announced a collaboration with Engine. Maybe you can also tell us a little bit more about that.
So Engine is it's a platform that allows as well making games that use NFT and blockchain. And together with Engine, we did contribute to building the ERC 1155 standard, which is a new standard for NFTs. That's not really something new. ERC 1155 has been there for over 2 years now, but it's really used more and more across all different. It's been adopted by wallet, by other product, marketplace. Now is widely supported in the ecosystem. And we were one of the 3 main contributors to these standards back in 2018 and 19. So essentially, ERC 1155 is a fungible token with metadata, so combining the NFT, the attribute from NFTs, so that instead of having one unique item, you can, every single CryptoKitty is a unique item, you can have a million swords, like a million gold sword, a million silver swords, for example, and those are going to be represented on the blockchain with just 2 tokens, not 2 million tokens, which is highly more efficient in terms of transfer, etc. Obviously, and also enables more use case behind through by the combination of having fungibility and non-fungibility on game assets. So it's a standard that's really meant and makes sense. It was designed initially for gaming. It makes sense for gaming. And we are happy to be one of the 3 contributors to this open standard.
Cool. I would like to sort of modify last question a little bit, because I think in the last 3 months, like at every single AMA we host, we touched on DeFi, and I feel like if we don't, then I'm not doing my job right. So you were talking about that you guys have launched staking. I think that is something that has gained a lot of popularity this year because of the boom of DeFi. But other than that, like how do you guys see Sandbox? What roles are you playing, and how you're contributing to the boom of it? And has this um, sort of like this rise of DeFi change anything that the Sandbox has been doing or is going to do?
Well, I think it's when we launched Sand Token, it was exactly right before the DeFi craze. Like in mid-August, we launched on the launchpad the Sand Token to the public, and then a little bit after started to appear many new DeFi projects, Wi-Fi, Sushi, etc. And we've seen this kind of boom, a new boom and interest of like the broader population of people who own crypto and trade crypto, like back in the ICO time. So a project like Sandbox has actually gone through both the up and the downs. So we've been there when the market was super bearish, etc., and we've continued to build and deliver. And that's kind of like the message I like to give to people who don't look more like do your own research. Look at how long those teams have been in the space. Have they built something? Who is their team? Like, have they delivered previous milestone, or are they just leveraging a current trends? Like, there's no background about them. You don't see any history of them building for months or years, but they're just trying to take, oh, it's a governance token, you can stake it, magic is DeFi. No, it takes a lot more time to process, to think through an economic system and a product that makes sense and that hopefully will sustain over time. And we didn't came with DeFi first, we came with NFT first, ownership, a token that allows you to exchange those NFT, a token that allows you to participate in the decision of our platform, and ultimately a token that also has incentive if you hold the token. So that's how we connected DeFi. And what's after DeFi, I think that's what we are seeing now after like DeFi went up, went down, and now people are already up in NFT space. And I think like the ultimate destination where we're all heading to is play to earn, where NFT plus token-based economic incentive come together and allow people who own those NFTs to actually earn more tokens. So it requires a little bit more engagement from the token holder to participate into those mechanisms. But I think it's really where it will leverage a long time value capture.
Yeah, and I think this is also sort of the sentiment I get out of talking to a lot of different founders from different projects is we're sort of in a parallel universe, right? Because
Mhm.
most of the projects are set forth on tackling something for a really long-term mission. But at the same time, we got a short-term cycle, like trading cycle, which go through ups and downs. And I think the main difference from 2018, 2017 is that projects, a lot of the successful projects have been around during the downside after the ICO burst. It's important to stay true to the original mission of what we're doing, and that's how we can get through the other
Mm.
downside after the DeFi boom. And so time flies, having fun chatting with you. We have already gone through all of the questions. So thanks so much, Sebastien. It's been a very engaging conversation. And thanks for sharing us the video that we're showcasing at the back that we're not seeing at the moment. Um, I think that you have shared a lot of really great insights with us today. Before we wrap up, is there anything else that you would like to share with the crypto.com community today?
Well, thank you, Maggie, for all the questions and the conversation. It's been really interesting to go through all the topics. And wow, I didn't notice like time flies already, and it's been close to 1 hour. We have this conversation, so I hope we touched down on enough topic. Maybe there's a lot of information to digest. Thing is, like we still think that we can create a gaming virtual world that's going to be attractive to any well, not just players, but just anyone in general. Like anyone can try to find an activity that will be fitting the kind of thing they like usually and can potentially benefit from it. Um, Wanted to give a big thanks to our community who's been supporting Sandbox over not just the last couple of months, but over the years for some of the early supporters. Um, Community of artists, community of creators, community of landowner, and now community of sandholders as well, who are following actively what we are doing and also testing out our product. So that's really an amazing thing to see. Like from we are taking new people into blockchain and crypto, but we're also taking existing people in crypto to try out our game, to try out our product, and to be interested into doing something more than just trading on a day to day, but actually start to discover new passions and become content creators. Um, we really look excited for looking forward to the future and building this long-term vision together for the next 5 to 10 years. And it will start with a first alpha version in December, where we'll be able to start playing a first taste of the experience, and it will continue for the years after to come.
So for anyone who are interested in following the news and the upcoming development of the Sandbox, don't forget to follow them on Twitter. The Sandbox handle is the Sandbox Game, and Sebastien, your handle is Borget Sebastien.
That's right.
And again, thanks so much for all of the really great questions raised today. If your question has been selected, that means you have won a share of the prize pool in Sense token, and your prize will be distributed directly to your Crypto.com app account within 2 weeks or so. Until then, please follow us and stay informed about upcoming events. Follow us on our official Twitter handle, official Telegram channels, and definitely subscribe our YouTube channels where all of these amazing AMAs are hosted. So until next time, thanks again, Sebastien, for joining us today.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great day. See you in the metaverse. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Yeah.